Today has been a very funny day for me. My Sunday league started today and I picked up two silly yellow cards and I got sent off. That was like my worst game ever. And I started to feel sad for myself for the most part. And I needed something to kind of share me off. So you could imagine how happy I was when Calafiori got his goal very, very early into the game. And the entire makeup of the goal, the Lewis Kelly shimmy before the assist, the pass itself, Calafiori scoring the goal like a striker. I mean, I'm very sure if that was, let's just say, there's only a few Arsenal player that I can very much bank on to score the good way Calafiori took his goal. He was so calm and composed. I mean, we know what came after, but that goal was just very good. And we all know who Calafiori is, how impressive he is going forward, all of the things he brings to the game, and how he almost gives us that extra attacker midfielder whenever we need. So we know who Calafiori is. But today I was very impressed about how solid he is or he was defensively. We know his defense has been improving steadily since last season. He kind of struggled in his first season with Arsenal, but last season he was very impressive, and today he continued being as impressive as he is. And we know Soli's, I'll get back to Soli's, but he kind of helped in that defensive aspect of his game because I didn't really kind of know so much about this game before this preseason and specifically today, but he kind of doubled up with Calafiori to help his defensive, to help release some of his defensive pressure. But generally, Calafiori was great going forward, coming back on the ball, just doing everything that you kind of expect him to do now. But then there are like only a few fullbacks in the world that can play their role the way Calafiori does. And again, like I said, the Lewis Kelly was just, his assist was just impressive. Like the entire movement, just how he moved his body to like beat, I think that was folding or something before picking up the pass was just so impressive. And generally, he had a very, very good game. That midfield was probably the best I've seen since the Bayern game. We had a couple of games last season where our midfield was very impressive, but for the most part, we've not really seen the best of our midfield since our 23-24 season. Yes. And I've always been, I was very worried about our midfield last season. I complained a lot because we just couldn't keep the ball. We just couldn't progress the ball because we just couldn't play through press. We struggled with physicality, press, everything, the mid block, the low block. There was no one that was very comfortable in the tight space because for the most part, Odegaard was injured. But today we had Bruno, we had Lewis Kelly, we had Odegaard, and everybody was just doing their job as well as they could. The ball was just moving. Everybody was comfortable to come pick up the ball. They could rotate. We had times where Lewis Kelly would go into the eights and Guimaraes would drop in the C's. That was how we started the game. But as other times you have Lewis Kelly as a deep six and Bruno G just as the eighth, just picking up the spaces where they can receive the ball and just progress the ball very well. Bruno G was very, very good. And I know a lot of people might not necessarily like this, but immediately we can already see how much of an improvement he is on Zubimendi for the most part. I know it's just one game, it's just a friendly game, but should be told it was very, very impressive this game, and I was just happy, and I hope that we can have more of these, more of the Bruno G, Lewis Kelly, Odegaard combination in games where we most likely will be looking to dominate. Not to say when Rice came in, he didn't do well, he didn't continue from where Bruno G stopped, but it was just impressive to see that we have this combination for games where we would be the more favorite to win, games that would be more open for us to play through. And it was just impressive. Even in all of these Solis played a very, very big part in how we're able to move the ball. Everything that guy did today was just kind of the right decision. He was making even the simplest thing when he like passes the ball into the midfield quickly, or he releases the ball as quick as possible, or times where he didn't necessarily need to like dial in on the ball. All those little things kind of contributed to how we're able to move the ball. And it was just very, very impressive today. His assist to Kai Havertz was everything, like from the Odegaard pass to pick up Solis, the assist back into the box was just very impressive. I mean, if this is who we are going to be seeing for 80% of the season, we can already say that this deal is looking like a very, very, very good deal. And of all of the things I was most worried about with Trossard leaving, it was with how well Solis was going to come and help us with the ball, help us in position and in possession of the ball. And it was very impressive today. But then again, his defensive part of the game was equally as impressive as the assist he gave to Kyle Havertz, was equally as impressive as anything he did in the game. He made sure that Calafiori and Incapi got all of the help. And this is not foreign to us. These are things that Martinelli and Trossard like do or did on a regular. But knowing that this guy can also step in to do that while also bringing every other thing he brings with him, this dude does, he weeks of quality to me. This is a very quality player playing in the quality team that at the very least is going to increase our floor a bit, maybe even our ceiling altogether. And it was just, that first stuff was just very, very good. Like even Kai Havertz dropping in, um, dropping into space, winning the long passes from wire, laying the ball off. All of the things we did was just beautiful to watch. This is not something we said a lot of last season. We complained a lot of a lot of how slow and stale our football kind of looked. Yes, it was effective. We won the league with it. And it is something we know that we still have if we need to resort to playing that way in some of the game. But it is also nice to know that we have something else that we can resort to, something that I would like to see more. Everything just made sense. Even Gabriel, which I kind of need to like just speak on it. Gabriel's become so underrated in terms of how well he progresses the ball, how well he is on the ball. This is not when we speak about Gabriel, we talk about how imposing he is, how great of a defender he is, how he's going to win you the most tackles, the most block, the most clearance, all of those things. Gabriel would always win those numbers. Check the stats. He clears most defenders. He clears Saliba in all of practically everything I've listed. He's always involved in the action. He's arguably our best defender. Saliba is a better footballer than Gabriel, and the difference between both of them is very slim for us to even have an argument about. But I view Gabriel as a better defender. But even me, when I speak about him, I don't necessarily bring up how well he has gotten when it comes to playing the ball out of the out out of the defense. When it comes to progressing the ball forward, Gabriel was very, very good in this game. I don't need to talk about all of his defensive action, all of his blocks, all of his sliding tackle. All of those are the things you know that Gabriel will give you at his best, which is 8 out of 10 times. But how well he progresses the ball has been very good to see. Maybe it's because we didn't have Saliba today, who would more likely do most of the job Gabriel was doing today because he was playing with Musquera. So more of the ball playing contribution or part of the game came from Gabriel, and he was very good at it. Not to say that Musquera wasn't good at it; he was excellent. Even everything was just great. Even the fact that we had White back into the team bring in the overlapping one. That white and combination we used to have with Wise. Sorry, we used to have with Odegaard, Saka, White, and Partey for the most part. We kind of recreated most of it today, despite the fact that Donny Madueke had the worst game of anyone on the team. I can't really think of any contribution he brought into the game. We still made that effective enough. Maybe the back heel pass to White, which kind of um further explain basically what I'm trying to say. That right hand side combination was good to see again between Guimaraes, Odegaard, Noni, and White. Just the fact that we had White on that right hand side going forward, overlapping, and also doing his job defensively was nice to see. This is probably the best game I've seen from White in a long time. Again, it's just the preseason. I don't want to me, I acknowledge the community shield. I respect the community shield, but I still know that it's even if it's not a friendly, it's game one. I would like us to continue in this way, and we have everything we we need to play as well as we can play, to play as well as we played today. But things that we are familiar with that we didn't necessarily see more of last season, we saw a lot of today. The game was just very, very great. If I'm missing anyone, I think I've in a way touched on all of our players. Sadwaya, who was also good. He was did his job when we needed him to do, and and his passes out of his passes was also like good to like start some attack or just progress the ball well. He was calm. Everybody today game was maybe it was because that we got the early goal, we imposed ourselves early enough. We kind of settled down quickly and just maintained that level for a very, very long time. So the game was very, very impressive to watch. And if anybody was worried about our preseason, how bad or how not so good it has been, I think this game is going to share people up. Yes, we know we need or we could do with some signings. An injury to Mosquera, would be in a bad situation. An injury to White, which would not be surprising, would also be in a bad situation. So all of these things are things that we'll speak about during the week. But just today, I can't. I just can't stop smiling because the game was very great. Odegaard was. It was fun to watch Odegaard. That goal was so great to see.